Hi, it's Gio. We back at it with another music theory lesson, and today we'll be covering key signatures. So let's get into it. But before we get into the lesson, a couple things. One, please like and subscribe because we got ratioed in the last one by C-Tay and Cappy, so we can't let that happen. And then also, this video will be adding on to the previous video where I taught you guys how to read treble and bass clef. And that'll be helpful for this video because, like, I don't know how you're going to be able to read, like, key signatures and stuff if you do not know how to read, like, the music. One thing I forgot to mention in my last video is, like, how to read, like, lower than the main note be focused on, which, like, in treble clef, the G, in the bass clef, the F. So basically, you set your ABCs backwards. So like from G, you can go G, F, E, D, C, B, A. And for F, you can go F, E, D, C, B, A. And G. And now onto key signature, which is like half this video. Let's learn about key signatures. We gotta learn what a sharp and what a flat is. As you can see, as I got pulled up on the screen right now, it is piano and also has all the note names on it in case you don't know them yet. And as you can see, between two notes there is a little black key, which you might be wondering, what note is that? Or is that like a unique letter or something?
Hell no!
It's not. It is like a note that is like in between two notes. And to show that they're in between these two notes, they have a sharp or a flat. A sharp is this like hashtag looking thing, and then the flat is like this B thing. You might be wondering, if those two notes are the same, how do you know which one to use? And that's where the key signature comes in. As you can see on the left, there are three flats, but it's not next to a note. And you may ask, why is that? That's because that's the key signature. One thing you might ask is, why does it have three flats? Why doesn't it have like 4, 5, 7, 0? Why doesn't it have sharps? And that's a good question that I will answer right now. Basically, they correspond with the scale that goes along with this key signature. But let's start from the basics. Let's just say there are absolutely 0 flats and 0 sharps. But what key would that be? To figure that out, we have to figure out the major scale formula. But to do that, we have to explain what a whole step and a half step is. I know this is all getting confusing. I keep going to different topics, but I have a lot to cover in this video. So, as we can see on the piano, the notes that are like directly next to each other, like let's take C and the black key up here, which will in this case we'll call C sharp. That would be a half step. But then if we show C and D, that'd be a whole step, because that would be two half steps. Now, just because they're half steps doesn't mean it's a white key and a black key. As you can see, the two keys that are next to each other, that's a half step. And as you can see right here, C and B are next to each other, so that's a half step and not a whole step. Now that we learned what a half step and a whole step is, now I'll tell you guys a little secret, the little secret formula. So let's start from C for an example, since as you'll see they'll all be white keys. So from C, you want to take a whole step, a half step, another whole step, a whole step again, and another whole step, and then a half step. And as you'll see, it'll take you right back up to C. And you can try this formula with any note and it'll make a major scale. Like, let's try B for example. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. And boom, we have a B major scale. And if you take the black keys from this scale, it'll give you the key signature. So let's look at what black keys we used. So let's look. B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, and A sharp. So as you can see, there are 5 flats in this key. And actually, I could teach you a little tip. The last sharp is where A usually is. And to find out the key, you just go up 1. Now let's try a different scale, but this time, let's try a more flat scale. Let's try B flat. Let's try B flat. So let's use our formula. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. So as you can see, let's just name the notes. B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, A, and B flat. So there's only 2 flats in this one. So the second to last flat is always going to be on the same line as what the key is. So in this case, there are 2 flats. So the second to last flat would be the first flat, which is on B flat. So therefore, it'll be B flat. Now, next up is probably something that you're probably screaming at your cellular device right now. Why are these flats and sharps on these specific lines, and can you just put them on any of them? And we're about to get into that. So for sharps and flats in the key signature, there's an order. So for the flats, since we already have B flat on the screen right now, it would be B, E, A, D, G, C, F. And the way I remember that is bead and greatest common factor. And for the sharps, it's basically that but backwards, which is F, C, G, D, E, A, B. Doesn't roll off the tongue very well, huh? Now you might ask, why would B have sharps and not flats? Or why would like any of these other scales have sharps but not flats? And that is because of the order, because for each scale, it would have to have, like, it would have to go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. So let's say you didn't do that. Instead, you had like B, D flat, E flat, E, G flat. Like, it just wouldn't sound right. Like, it would be like what? B, D, D, E, F, or something. Like, it just wouldn't look right, you know? And it wouldn't be correct. Now, to end off this section about key signatures, there is like a whole thing we haven't mentioned yet that I will probably like explain better in my next video on major and minor scales. But basically, the key, like, we were talking about the B major key, but we did not talk about like the minor version of that. Basically, each key signature corresponds to 2 scales, a major scale and a minor scale. I'm not going to be going more in depth to that in this video, but I just wanted to plant the seed in case you're learning along with me. So that'll be it for this video. I was going to include time signatures in this one. However, this video is getting kind of long, and I feel like something like that topic deserves to have a video of its own. So I will not be including it in this one. But if any like music theory experts are watching from afar and notice I missed something in key signatures or I got some information wrong, then feel free to call me out and I'll like fix it in my next video. And while researching this video, I found out some like interesting stuff, and it kind of makes me want to go into music history as well. Like, we can learn about the history of like piano, like classical music, John Philip Sousa, and stuff like that, because that stuff's kind of interesting to look into. But with that said, stay awesome and stay skibbity.